Hello anybody and welcome to the finale of Super Metroid. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the previous episode we killed Ridley, finished off the last of the end of area bosses with him, but we found that the baby Metroid was still missing. So, in light of this news, we came all the way back up to the surface from the deepest pits of Norfair, even though we thought we cornered Ridley and got rid of everything. And we've maxed out all of our stuff, we've got all the missiles, all the power bombs, the screw attack. We are completely loaded and ready to make the final descent into the planet. For even though we wiped out the pirate base in Norfair as well as we could, I went the wrong way. And that's just fine. Anyway, yeah, even though we wiped out the pirate base in Norfair, well, we clearly didn't wipe them out completely. We still have some business to finish, particularly to do in a room that isn't too far from here. Actually, I think you can screw attack through that tiny little tunnel if you want. I mean, you can, it's just a little silly. But yeah, we are making our final descent. We are just charging right on down, and I actually find it really cool how close to the beginning of the game the final area actually is. And this is actually kind of a tradition in Metroidvanias, is the end area is usually quite close to where you start the game, and that's usually cool. It's kind of like an ominous teaser, if anything. But anyway, we come back to this long room we haven't seen since like the second episode, and in coming in here, we find this statue with the 4 end bosses we defeated. There was Kraid, Fantoon in the middle. I have to wonder why this is actually here and how it actually works, how these statues are tied to their life force or something. Dragon is dead. And of course, Ridley to top them all off. I really like this statue. It looks really cool, especially the Ridley on top, just the angling and the posing and the artwork of it. But you defeat all the bosses, you come back to this room, and everything ominously shakes. The statue, of course, sinks into the ground, and the path is cleared. You can leave at this point, but you don't have to, and you come to this little subterranean area with this elevator that's just kind of hidden. They went to a lot of effort to hide this secret entrance. Having to kill 4 end-of-area bosses to access this place, this is the true heart of the Zebus, the true heart of the Space Pirate operations. This is Tourian. This is the end game. If you look at your map, it actually shows you this is it. This is all it is. It's approximately 4-5 halls long, and after that, well, you're basically at the end. My advice actually here would be to not save, because at some point when you save in Tourian, the game will actually, I think, we're not at a point of no return just yet, but there is a point of no return coming up. And if you haven't collected everything in the game by then, well, then you get locked out of potentially going back to get that. So, new Tourian is a lot like old Tourian from the original Metroid. They rebuilt everything, but the most terrifying thing you're going to find immediately as you come in here is, of course, Metroids themselves. These aren't the Mocktroids that we saw while we were in, of course, Meridia. And that's why I'm kind of going slow here, because this is kind of supposed to be a little bit of a terrifying moment as you enter this place and you're immediately beset upon by Metroids. These, of course, look more proper traditionally, and if you know Metroid canon and lore, like if you read the manual for the original game, if you played the original game, you'll know that the only way to fight Metroids is, at least at this point in the series, is to freeze them and shatter them with a missile. 5 missiles or 1 super missile gets the job done. Oh my god, I am being eaten. And this is the most terrifying point of Metroids, is if they latch onto you, they do not get off easily. But if you do get them off, you'll be just fine. Thankfully, they drop a ton of power-ups when you do kill them, but even a single Metroid, if it latches onto you, can be a bit of a threat. These guys are no joke. And in most Metroid games, they're usually the most intimidating, terrifying enemy in the game. Like, I gotta be honest here, Metroids do kind of intimidate me a little bit just for their chase pattern. Their chase pattern, which is very aggressive. and just the fact that if they latch onto you, getting them off is extremely difficult. But actually fighting them isn't too hard. They're pretty easy. And also look out for these SpaghettiOs that are also coming after you. I know that's not what they're called, but everybody calls them SpaghettiOs, so I may as well do it too. I think they're called rings or something. You can blow them up, but you don't get anything. So, since we're running into Metroids, we've come to the conclusion that the pirates have indeed cloned Metroids. They took the baby Metroid and they must have used its DNA in order to clone these guys out and, repurpose them for their own evil purposes or whatever. Dumped the mock Troids, which were failures, into Meridia, but now they have the real ones, the real deals, just kind of flying around everywhere. And it's not entirely certain if they're supposed to be roaming around or if they broke out. In the original Metroid, they clarified in Zero Mission that the Metroids broke out of their cells and kind of took hold of Tourian and kind of killed all the pirates, and that's why there weren't any pirates to fight in Zero Mission until the post-game, which was added specifically for Zero Mission, but I digress. This is one of the harder Metroid games to get a Metroid off in. The other option is, of course, actually I don't know if you can freeze them while they're on you, but yeah, they drain your health really fast, especially if an extra one gets on you. If one touched you in the NES version of the game, I think the only way to get it off was to exit the room and come out, or just leave. So we got these giant side hoppers that are just, wow, they're so big, and Screw Attack doesn't kill them. These are a very special breed of side hoppers. They are extremely powerful, and they'll do a ton of damage. They do like 30 damage per pop. They're just really frustrating to fight. And we also got the creepy encounter music, and even though we've gone through some mechanical sections of Tourian, there's all this sand and stuff, and we're still looking for the baby Metroid, keep in mind. Like, oh, that's a Torizo. Hello? Oh, that's bad. If you don't know Metroid, Metroids suck out your life energy. It's never determined what this life energy is supposed to be, but once it has finished sucking out a target's life energy, they're left as a dusty husk that kind of crumbles at any touch. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. We're seeing a few enemies from the game that have just been reduced to pretty much nothing. You touch them, and they fall apart, and it's just kind of disturbing, and whoa, that's a big old side hopper. And, okay. Oh my god! And that is one big Metroid. That guy is really big, and you get to see it in action. That's kind of scary. So we're in a battle with the big Metroid, but he immediately latches onto you. You can flail about, do as best you can, but it's so big, it's too big. You can't freeze it. It's oh no, we're gonna die. Wait a minute. What the? Aww. So in case you can't tell by what just happened there, the fact we were spared, and now that this little guy, well, big guy I suppose, is following us around, well, that's the baby Metroid. That is what has happened to our little buddy. He's all grown up now. And now that he feels bad about nearly killing Samus, he just runs away because, well, wouldn't you feel bad if you nearly killed something that you identified as your mother and realized at the last second what you nearly did? Poor little guy. Well, that's kind of your moment to that's kind of your, I wouldn't necessarily call it a wham moment, but maybe you would. It's just kind of like, oh. So he feels bad about what he did clearly because he's run away, and, well, it just kind of goes to show you, though, what the pirates have been up to. They've been busy at work, and just with a lot of experimentation, they've turned the baby Metroid into the eponymous Super Metroid. You see, unlike most Super Nintendo games, the Super isn't all that artificial. The Super denotes, in fact, that, well, that's actually what this Metroid is. This is the Super Metroid from which the new Metroids were cloned, and which has kind of spawned the whole plot of the game. I think if you use this save point, I think after the baby Metroid encounter, that is the point of no return. You can't leave from that room. So if you use this save station, that is, of course, this is the point of no return. If you save here, you can't go back. If you haven't 100%ed the game by this point, like I have, then there's no chance to do it. But you might... But regardless of all that, we've come back into the mechanical parts of Tourian with all these machinery and all this stuff, and we went through a boss door, which I neglected to mention above. And you come to this room with these rings and these little turrets and this rising lava, and if you played the original Metroid, you'll immediately identify this as the final boss chamber of Mother Brain. Mother Brain is, of course, the head of the space pirates, as we know, and it isn't difficult to guess that she is at the source of all of this again, especially because this is pretty much shot for shot the exact same buildup it takes to get to Mother Brain. Shooting through these walls, which take a ton of missiles to shoot through. You can blow through them with super missiles very quickly in a moment, but I like to use all of my arsenal here. And of course, all of your aggressors here are pretty much stationary targets, indestructible of course. And this is where you're going to be tanking a lot of damage. And of course, we come to Mother Brain, the AI that controls this whole thing. She is, I think she's biomechanical, but she's basically the core of the entire space pirate operation. In the original Metroid, you just pump missiles into her, you break her glass case open, because all she has to defend herself now are these turrets. But in the original Metroid, you blew her up, and it initiated the self-destruct that wiped out the pirate base and saved the day. So we are going to do just that, and we are going to take care of her, because we are tired of her nonsense, and we are just going to... This has been a long day for Samus, fighting Ridley and Kraid, and we're at the end here, and we're gonna shut down the space pirate operation, and you shoot enough missiles into her, and she explodes just like the end of the original Metroid. So that is the end. Mother Brain is, dead, and that is the end. Oh my god, this is a psych! And this is where things completely change for the terrifying. In Super Metroid, this is Mother Brain attached to her very goofy and scary looking body. This is, of course, the final battle of Super Metroid against... This is where they this is kind of the epitome of going ahead from, like, the original Metroid, taking the original Metroid as inspiration for the boss lead-up, and then making the final fight, something completely new. This is like the fake Kraid leading up to the giant, massive Kraid. This is like Ridley being this full-fledged fight. It's just, it does a lot of, it's intimidating. It's got its own original track, as you can see. If Mother Brain hits you, every attack she has is very dangerous, but she attacks fairly slowly and deliberately. It isn't hard to hit her in this fight. You have more than enough room to move around, but you want every shot to count against her. You'll see that I have already run out of super missiles, and if you've stocked up on 100% items in the game, this isn't going to be too difficult of a fight for you, and I'm just going to pump her full of missiles now at this point. Samus is much more agile than Mother Brain, but Mother Brain's body, and with this thing, she has so much power, and she has this move she'll start using as she starts running low on HP. She's going to start shooting explosions across the screen, which is just fantastic, if I must say, and we've already shot her with almost all of our missiles, all of our reserves. And will power bombs do anything? Maybe. And we've nearly got her. We've got her on the ropes. And come on. Oh my god! Holy crap! And that's okay. We still have plenty of life, and we can get back up. And we can resume the fight, even though she hit us with that massive attack. And oh god, she's gonna use it again. And let's try and get away. Oh, you cannot dodge this attack. This is actually really, really bad. Samus is still going at it. If you have plenty of energy tanks, you actually shouldn't be surviving these, given how much damage they do. But oh my god, and again! How much health does she have? She knocks you down and you try to get back up, but oh my god, Samus has taken way too much damage. And 39 health. Oh, this is really bad, and she's charging up for the final hit. This is it. This is... Her little buddy comes in, and yeah, go get her. And that's kind of the attitude you're supposed to feel at this point, and I don't know how to do it justice, really, but she just flies in and just... Everything about this scene goes so well. Just taking your power away from you in the moment of the game, in the context of the battle. You don't know that this is a cutscene when it's first happening, when you first get shot. You're struggling to get up. The Super Metroid just flies in, and Mother Brain is drained of her energy, because the Super Metroid can do that, and oh god, don't eat me. But Super Metroid, little baby Metroid, little buddy, is bro, and he's gonna give us back our energy. And isn't he just the best? He's gonna give it all back to us, and oh, that's not supposed to happen. No. Stop, get off. No, stop attacking him. Okay, baby Metroid, I got enough health, he can get out of here. Get out of here. Okay, he left and... No! You know, I'm not saying this moment has to resonate with you or anybody, but this is a perfectly this is what Super Metroid does so well. This moment is executed so perfectly, with the perfect build-up with the previous room and the indication of the baby Metroid evolved into the Super Metroid. This fight that ends up a hopeless fight, and in such a short, brief moment, Mother Brain takes it all away from you. But at the end of the day, you use her own power against her and bring her down for being the bitch that she is and killing our little buddy. That's how you do. That's how you tell a story through gameplay. But you aren't given time to really celebrate in your victory or in mourn or whatever, because of course now the entire base is exploding because there was another bomb set to Mother Brain, and thus now we have to escape from this place. There is no time to really consider what just happened, and I was considering for a long time how to approach that whole thing, but it's just so hard to think of how to do it, and the down path is wrong. And incidentally, these pirates you're running into along the way, these are all silver pirates, the commander pirates that you encountered in Norfair, and the hyper beam that you get in the fight can wipe them all out. But that moment is just so awesome. Even if it doesn't resonate with you as a story moment, even if you think it's just, oh, it's just a dumb giant Metroid jellyfish thing, it's such a cool moment, and it's so brief, and it does its moment so well because it occurs in such a short time span. It just occurs. It goes down all in the matter of a minute, without any dialogue, without any unneeded exposition. You see it happen. It's all shown to you. You get to feel it happen. You get to see Samus get knocked down. You get to see the color change in the Metroid, the mechanics of the game being present in the moment as it's dying, and then just as you think it's going to get away and just leave, it just completely dead. And that's just that hope gone. You run through here, you blast back out into the ruins of Old Tourian, and this is the last callback to the original Metroid, aside from the fact that we're doing the escape again, is the fact that this is the old escape chute that Samus used the last time she escaped from the planet. So, oh god, and of course the acid is rising, everything is shaking and exploding, and again, the brevity of the moment of that scene with the baby Metroid dying was just, it was so well done. You weren't given moments to linger on it. They didn't force you to look at it for more than 5 minutes and force you to think, oh, that's really sad, and just kind of draw it out into an hour-long thing that didn't need tons of exposition and dialogue like Other M did. That was why a lot of people hated Other M, is because it took that really cool moment where you get to just blast Mother Brain with the Hyper Beam and just dominate her in that battle, and they expunged that into an hour worth of cutscenes and dialogue, but it doesn't work because the brevity of the scene is what makes it so good, and especially since they just throw you right into this escape sequence. And of course, I'm not explaining that if you come down here, you don't have to come down here. You might be thinking to run right to the ship, but if you come down here, you can actually find these animals who've helped you on your journey, and as the lava rises, you can blow out a path for them to escape. But, of course, that doesn't really worry me too much, because we still have plenty of time to get out of here, get back to our ship, and get off this planet. Everything happens so quickly, so fast. It's done so well, and of course we have Ridley's theme, and of course we want to get out of here before everything explodes. Even the skies are kind of exploding. apparently this won't be any normal space pirate base explosion. Better clear the planet's range just to be safe. You take off. You need to take off faster than that, Samus. There you go. The operation was completed successfully. And that is the end of Super Metroid. Clear time 4:16 for 100% items. All missiles, all energy tanks, everything. And that is the credits. And that is the end of Super Metroid. Thank you for watching. I have been Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and I will continue to be Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and that was Super Metroid. It ends really strong. I feel really good about the ending of Super Metroid. Even though it says the operation was completed successfully, if you think about it, this is actually kind of a downer ending. If our mission from the beginning was to find the baby Metroid, because the baby Metroid, ignoring all that, like, maternal imprinting and all that, and stuff that wasn't really expunged upon until Other M, the baby Metroid's energy was intended to be studied for, like, science and all that, and, well, yes, there is that sad little moment that doesn't necessarily resonate with everyone, but that's okay. Everybody has different experiences when they play games like these. But the operation ultimately seems like it was kind of a failure. Yeah, you blew up the space pirates and destroyed the entire planet in the process, but at the same time, your main mission, which was to recover the baby Metroid, was kind of a failure. But it's not all bad, of course, because the pirates have been wiped out. Mother Brain has to be dead. There's no way that they can rebuild her from that. There is no way that, you know, this is also kind of cements that this is the canonical death of Ridley, because there's no way they can rebuild him after he exploded after Zebes explodes, unless they rebuild Zebes. But I digress. This has been a very fun game to play. It was more frustrating than I remember, especially if you go for 100%, but that's the funny thing about Super Metroid. A lot of its annoying stuff you don't really see unless you go for 100%, and it does have some questionable game design that I don't think has aged particularly well, but for the most part, it's still a very well-crafted game, with beautiful visuals and a great lonely atmosphere, fantastic boss fights, and just minimal plot that when it is put to use, it's just in the short moments that you do see the plot, it's done well. They misspelled Gunpei Yokoi as Gumpei Yokoi. That's fantastic. But anyway, we see Samus. However, since we didn't beat the game in under 3 hours, we don't get the ending where she takes off all her armor. Rather, we just get the normal cake ending instead of the cheesecake ending where she takes off her helmet and we see her smile. She also has a visor in this version of Metroid, and whereas she doesn't have whoa. She shot us. Get to see the logo, and that is the end. Well, your rate is 100%. There's nothing as validating as seeing that. See you next mission. So yeah, I kind of got out everything I need to say. Super Metroid was a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. Thank you if you have subscribed. Thank you if you have not subscribed. That's fine too. Thank you if you leave comments. Thank you. Pretty much just thank you. You are great and fantastic. Thank you for sticking around to the end. And, well, I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and I hope to see somebody in the next one. Bye-bye.